Details magazine had a really interesting piece about the stigma of unmarried men. So men who reach their 40s and have decided that they don't want to get married are usually stigmatized by their friends or their family members who have gotten married. And it's really interesting because...
Probably because they're gay.
Well,
that's actually mentioned in the article.
It is mentioned in the article. They're stigmatized as either playboys, which I don't see that as a negative thing, right?
Right, yeah, oh my God. You're such a, Casanova. Oh, you're so stigmatized.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome.
But of course, then people will think you're gay because you haven't gotten married. And there was a survey done that indicated that women who are looking for men to date are more aroused by men who have been married but went through a horrible divorce than men who are in their 40s and have never been married at all.
That's interesting. Wes?
Okay, here's what I've experienced, because I was like, when I got divorced, I think, okay, I'm living in a teeny tiny apartment, driving the cheapest Hyundai available with 2 kids who live literally in the room with me half the time. Who the fuck is gonna want to date me?
Right.
And apparently, a lot of people. And they go, my girlfriend, she's got all these single friends, and their big complaint is, you can't date that guy, he's never been married. Because they meet me, they're like, oh, he's been married. He's a sucker. I'll get him. I'll pull him in. He'll I'll get him. If you've never been married, they're like, I'll spend 6 months. I'll be 6 months older. At the end of it, there will be nothing.
I never thought of it that way. By the way, Wes Clark is back. Okay.
No, I'm just saying the way it is, and all the girlfriends are like, I'm looking for someone who's like divorced or even with kids, because I used to think, dude, if you have kids, who the hell's going to want to date you if you have kids? It's like, it's the same way. Look, if you're a single guy, your best odds are if you have a dog, because it proves you can take care of something.
That's one way of looking at it, and I bet that's a significant factor, as you point out. The other thing is, I think, if some guy hasn't been married till he's 40, I think people start to assume there's something wrong with him.
Yes,
they do. So they totally do.
I wanted to jump in quickly. So I'm in my 20s right now, so I don't expect to meet a bunch of guys who have been married and divorced. But when my girlfriends are looking for guys to date, and they find out the guy that they're dating has never been in a serious monogamous relationship, well, they freak out and they say, and it turns out that he's not the kind of guy that I want to date. And it's because they're afraid that he's a commitment phobe. They're afraid that he has some sort of psychological issue that prevents him from being in a serious relationship. So I assume that as you get older, the marriage thing is proof that he is capable of being in a committed relationship, in a serious relationship.
Yeah. So, and I think a third concern is he a creeper? Like, is there something wrong with him that at some point everybody breaks up with him, right? So it's a mix of all that stuff.
Most of those guys break up with whoever they're with because they're looking for the next best thing to come along.
I think that's the main concern that women should have, because look, I think there's nothing wrong with guys who haven't gotten married till 40. That's what I was planning to do.
That's what I was planning to do.
I know,
Didn't
right?
happen that way.
I know. But look, the thing is, and like George Clooney, I mean, he's my idol. God bless his heart. Just will not get married. There's nothing wrong with him, et cetera, et cetera. But it does indicate one thing that is true. I mean, the gay stuff is ridiculous, right? But it does at least show you if a guy has dated a lot of people and hasn't gotten married, he apparently is not interested in getting married.
Right.
That's a fair assumption.
And to that point, a lot of the men who are in their 40s and have decided that they don't want to get married yet say that seeing their couples or their friends and the relationships that their friends are in has served as a deterrent.
Oh, hell yeah, it does.
So,
I mean, I never had good things to say about me. You rode in the car with me all the time.
Yes.
And I was like, don't get married.
Well, I mean, the Young Turks is a stew of don't get married stories.
No, no matter where I go in the country, it's like it's that crushing period between when you first get married and you just got a house and you've got some little kids and it's like the work and the money and everything is crazy. And as a guy, I mean, look, ultimately, in the end, more than half marriages end in divorce. So your odds are just take your money and just light it on fire.